Yes, I'm afraid it's true, and I'm really sorry. After 13 years of making Wheeler Dealers, I'm now going to be leaving the show.
Wheeler Dealers Ed China was working with Mike, a fan-favorite brewer, to turn the event into a big success, but Ed abruptly made the decision to depart, leaving everyone perplexed as to why he abandoned a program that was so successful. When he was join us as we plunge, it's crucial, into the true causes of his unexpected departure that will send waves of shock throughout the entertainment. China was a tall, soft-spoken country innovator who has a strong passion for mechanics, renowned for making the strange work. He wasn't seeking notoriety or attempting to be a TV celebrity, that he simply admired resolving issues, creating things, and scuffing his hands. Yet that silence soon, his zeal will propel him into the center of one of the most famous. Wheeler is one of the greatest car exhibits ever. 2003 television producers and dealers Daniel Lamb went over to Ed and the auto dealer Mike Brewer had a program idea where they would purchase and repair inexpensive used autos and make a profit margin on them. The idea was straightforward, but it required the Mike would be the ideal balance. Dealmaker Ed, who talks quickly, would be the composed and diligent team of mechanics. They would revive a vehicle from the Ed's appearance in the first episode. He wasn't just a guy. He was something else. He was the real stuff. He was clutching a spanner. He gave an explanation of his actions and motivations, spending time guiding viewers through every phase in the process of restoration. Ed regarded each task with the same degree of care and acknowledged the viewers for wishing to comprehend and be appreciated by others. Mike provided the enthusiasm and the hustle. Ed brought the program down to earth. That genuineness turned into the essence of it made the show stand out. Wheeler Dealers, from other auto shows that were more, the seasons focused more on drama than detail. The formula hit its stride as it rolled on. Parts of Ed's workshop gained popularity. Favorite extended repair sessions using calm assurance and the ideal plenty of humor, and during Mike's absence, locating cheaper parts and offers to Ed was in the garage working on the type of work that caused the viewers to respect him and understand how complicated vehicle restoration is actually. By the time the show Wheeler Dealers was on globally, Ed China had grown more. He was an ambassador rather than a TV mechanic. For doing things correctly, young vehicle, he was admired by enthusiasts. He was regarded among mechanics. But as the show increased along with the surrounding stresses, the demands for output rose. Expectations changed, and although the crowd remained present, but behind the moments where the ground was starting to change, and Ed, as usual, anticipated it in 2017. The automotive industry was struck by a stunning information that nobody anticipated. Ed has served with loyalty for almost 15 years. Half of the cherished Wheeler is in China. The pair of dealers revealed his unexpected departure from the performance. There had been something surreal about it. Wheeler Dealer Center, while Mike Ed was the one who handled the transactions for Brewer. He put his sleeves up and took on each mechanical issue with accuracy and patience. He served as the teacher the person who created even the most complicated rebuild feel manageable, for it undoubtedly made sense to the producers. Decreasing the size of the mechanical parts would result in quicker cost reductions, recovery, and increased attraction to casual watchers, but it was nothing short for Ed. He was unable to participate and demonstrate that education was no longer the focus. While carrying out the task correctly, Ed had seen the show's essence changes beneath his feet. That used to be roughly genuine fixes and astute problem solving were transforming into quick fixes and superficial remedies the deeper the mechanical work, the more wheeler dealers were unique, because overlooked in favor of polished modifications and surface-level changes. He may have maintained his composure the paid, while feigning a few scenes. Ed would have been the only one to blame him. China has never been one to pretend to be someone else. It wasn't merely a silent protest when they left. It conveyed the idea that in a world where shortcuts that are still worthwhile appropriately, that some people are concerned greater emphasis on quality than on attentiveness. However, if did anyone believe that would be the final, they were mistaken. It was going to get much more evil that he was unable to participate in a program that stopped being about instruction and carrying out China's withdrawal correctly. Wheeler Dealers was more than just a headline. The car was set off by a spark. Community incensed that the emphasis was moved from Ed's composed declaration to Mike Brewer, his longtime co-host. For a large audience, their relationship had always appeared strong on camera. Their chemistry seemed natural. But now that Ed was gone, people began accusations started to be questioned about everything. To attack Mike, saying he was in charge of Ed's departure, that the blowback was severe and very intimate. Mike Brewer quickly disclosed that the circumstances had significantly surpassed the internet. In his opinion, both he and his family had been harassed. Threats and unsettling communications, though the severity of the attacks was such that at one Mike acknowledged that he had been reduced to weeping, and Ed stayed through it all. Silent, but possibly the most suitable. Ed's departure's cause was never concerning creative differences. It was about proprietorship, and who actually influenced the Wheeler Dealers' identities. In the interim, Mike Brewer maintained the show's momentum, introducing fresh mechanics as Ed's substitute. But for the vast majority of the viewers, it was irrelevant how Wheeler Dealers was the show's name. Still airing, but something had altered. The tone and felt different. Not all magic was the same, and even as the value of the production increased, and the show entered new markets, using a cloud of "what if" pervaded each episode. What if Ed had remained until now? Mike and Ed's relationship is still unknown, because this wasn't simply a change of employment. It was a break in a cherished pair, a change in confidence between watchers and makers. And as Ed walked departing with his morals unaltered, Ed's next move is still a long way off. After leaving, everyone was rendered dumbfounded. Ed China, from Wheeler Dealers, didn't seize the next dazzling chance. Rather, he became silent, as most of the automotive media community conjectured about Ed had already laid the groundwork for his next action, laying the foundation for a return rather than a reset, an opportunity to rebuild and complete in his own manner. In 2021, Ed came back with a YouTube video called Workshop Diaries, series showcasing the reconstruction of Ed China procedure in a more accurate form for seasoned observers. It seemed like a homecoming, and each workshop episode diary serves as a reminder for fans of initially got in touch with Ed. He did not intend to sell the fantasy. He was about demonstrating the restoration procedure, traditional methods for repairing oddball creations. The program provided something unique. The volume of responses was enormous, but not everything went smoothly, resulting in it's difficult to run an independent series without each episode's network budget was filmed in his own workshop. Labor of love, edited by a small team with assistance from sponsorships, viewer donations, and sales of goods. Even in the absence of despite widespread TV support, he has stayed quite powerful. But others, Ed fought for views and gained a devoted following basis. While some followed the newest fashion, he remained true to what made him special. Nevertheless, as Workshop Diaries expanded, and Ed fans couldn't help but continue to invent. However, I wonder whether he had discovered his completed format, or was this all the starting because for an individual who'd left behind one of the largest TV history indicates, he appeared more motivated than before. And at that point the Ed China was the subject of rumors that he was preparing for a much larger event in the future have gone by since Ed China left. For many fans, but from Wheeler dealers, the narrative still doesn't align with it was a clean break over the surface. Respect for creative differences, the mechanic moved aside since he couldn't back the new show's direction is straightforward. But perhaps not because it gets more complicated the more you dig. Evident that this wasn't only a dispute. There was a conflict of values over the content. Priorities, authority, and while according to official statements, it was friendly, the quiet and voids in the tale has just made the mystery more complex. First, let's talk about the timing. Wheeler Dealers continued to be a worldwide success, and the format's fan base in 2017 was enormous. Was functioning, and the scores were high. So why make such significant adjustments? Why correct what was not violated by the Discovery's choice to simplify the program and reduce extensive repairs and preference to quicker-paced, more amusing parts weren't according to insiders. It was a random deliberate action to lower the cost of the show, easier to produce, more easily syndicated, and he blocked the plan's path. Fans adored the intricate scenes in the workshop. Weren't merely time-consuming, but costly. Every intricate repair needed more hours of filming, specialized retakes tools, and careful editing. Into the realm of highly efficient television manufacturing is a cost center. Money was saved by removing certain segments. Additionally, many people believe that it stripped the judging from the program. Some people think Ed was not merely given the option to remain, he was strategically pushed in a discreet manner. Suggested that when Discovery took too many choices were being made without he was no longer consulted as he once was. He didn't contribute as much as creative authority that he had assisted in establishing. The years were passing quickly, and then the rumor mill has been around for years. Online rumors have been circulating, and among the car communities where Ed's it wasn't as voluntary to go as it. According to one version, he was given a harsh warning to adopt the new format or abandon another. Implies that internal discussions had already established a new model of the workshop before Ed ever had opportunity to retaliate. Some even claim he was purposefully left out of the "there are two options" for the transition discussion. Nothing has ever been compromised or left behind. Been verified. But that's a component of the issue. The lack of definitive solutions left a void, and theories in that space began to swirl. When fans failed to closure, they began assembling their own stories, followed by the Ed and Mike Brewer's relationship. On-screen chemistry had always appeared to sincere. They joked around like old friends, honored one another's expertise, and utilized their advantages. Mike with the gives the tools to Ed, but after Ed fans turned on as things became tense. Mike has been accused by some of being participating in the modifications, or even playing a part in forcing Ed to face. The criticism was so severe that Mike reported getting threats is a negative aspect of fandom. That nobody still supports what was in place, it was more than just a fan reaction. The ambiguity between Mike and Ed, no joint statements were made. Interviews without any reciprocal assistance in public relations remained elegant and tactful, never putting Mike in a bad light, but additionally, never intervening to stop the gossip, and Mike appeared to be hurt, defensive, and overpowered by that quiet. Spoke volumes, and it continues to do so. The network's layer of mystery is unique behavior. Discovery Channel, renowned for its strict adherence to brand message, never talked about Ed's departure in detail beyond a no behind-the-scenes footage and minimal press lines documentary, with no actual farewell montage appreciation for his contributions. Such omissions don't only appear to it begs the question, why wouldn't they honor one of the important individuals who contributed to the show's worldwide success, unless in cases where doing so would highlight anything that the people didn't want to see, have also highlighted more specific details, such being the sudden editing of Ed's last episodes, or the manner in which his name swiftly disappeared from the promotional materials. Some even point out how little he has been mentioned by wheeler dealers since, as though his contribution to the history of the show has been subtly downplayed, it's not evidence of anything dubious, but it doesn't felt like the farewell to someone he earned stature, and perhaps that's the true problem with China wasn't merely a he served as the host's technical lifeblood. Wheeler sells his composed manner, honesty, and meticulousness. The show's legitimacy was attributed to its craftsmanship. Credibility suffered when he departed that, and while Mark and Aunt Anstead Priestley assumed the position with fans of competence and enthusiasm were never completely moved on, since Ed's representation wasn't simply information, but integrity was what the reason why people continue to talk. The reason why rumors persist is not because fans desire drama, but due to Ed's departure left an empty space that isn't filled, one that might not have been intended. Ed doesn't have to be whatever the truth is stating, and perhaps he won't choose to follow the high road and concentrate on constructing, making, and proceeding with his own terms, although there are still uncertainties. Not because individuals are unable to let go, but since they are concerned about the talk about the individuals that created it. Unique, and about the silent methods that corporate influence has the power to alter things, turning something significant into something forgettable. Thus, the mystery remains unsolved, still attracting theories and unresolved discussions from global fans, because many secretly still desire to think the story has more to it, and that they will eventually receive the complete image. At this stage of the narrative, one might simply state that Ed China's The Journey is a tribute to nostalgia. A well-liked TV mechanic who left when the program was altered, but that doesn't truly convey Ed's narrative, isn't it? It's still moving even if it's frozen in the past. Furthermore, it continues to shape the future of automobile narratives and methods that a lot of people are still unaware of, because Ed's message is widely understood beyond a single program or even a single format. He symbolizes a certain level of devotion to the craft to the viewers, and perhaps the majority of crucially for him. That's uncommon in a time when material is created to get clicks and measures of attention spans are found, and Ed traveled the road for a few seconds that most wouldn't. Instead of switching to reality TV drama, he didn't grant a license to he remained in the garage with the highest bidder. With tools all about, construction is being done silently. Something genuine, and others were aware of it. Ed China's reputation is what makes him the liberty to pursue his future goals and attract followers, which is why audiences don't require elaborate introductions. Expensive sets are designed for television dramas to remain involved. They're not only observing a show in which they are endorsing someone who stood for something, but the question remains. Workshop Diaries. The final remains a final destination or merely a stopover. If you examine the wider picture, you begin to observe the indications of a developing situation. Has been gradually extending his reach, launching into partnerships that are growing new instruments, trying out various formats he has been experimenting with, not just with automobiles, but with concepts of how to innovate, entertain, and educate without compromising both people and substance. Seeing it It's easy to picture him constructing a more ambitious project comprehensive platform as a center for appropriate sophisticated builds, restorations, and long-structured narrative that provides automobile enthusiasts a genuine substitute for the internet turmoil of algorithm-chasing substance, as well as the overly manufactured shine of contemporary TV. There's also the issue of Ed's departure was timed to coincide with media streaming was starting to really controlling the former gatekeepers of the power of television is not as great as they were formerly producers, with the devoted now have direct access to their target audience and the resources to develop everything they imagine. And if there's Ed, China has consistently performed well at one thing. In addition to his build, he has another thing. Spending time with him, not only in the literally, but in the manner that Ed takes his time and doesn't rush things. Allows ideas to grow. He's not pursuing a viral success, he's taking the long view, and consequently, even after years apart, his importance on mainstream TV hasn't diminished. If anything, it has increased because, as the entertainment industry grew louder and faster, and sexier, Ed remained motionless, and by doing this, he developed a remarkable calmness. Constant presence in a chaotic environment, someone who serves as a reminder that action patience is still important. The information is still valuable and that sometimes the wisest course of action is slowing down. So where does everything go? Perhaps Ed will continue to grow from here. Workshop Diaries into an